small technical issue the first take. So live about the law of one, the raw material, the philosophy practiced by our friends above from the Galactic Federation. So Andrew, you're back. You can send me that invite, should be good this time. Alexander, hi brother. Glad that you are here tonight. So yeah, the law of one. We'll accept Andrew once again. It says that you were unable to join, Andrew. Can you send me an invitation again? Okay, here you go. Good. Now I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Wow. Grateful for your presence tonight, brother, to do this. I mean, that's a very, very important topic. I feel that has a lot to be shared.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I love any chance to talk about the law of one material, the raw material, I guess.
Yeah.
And I feel like the channelings that they've done in all the books hasn't even really scratched the surface. Like there's so much to it.
Yeah. So much. I forgot my timer. I don't have any way to monitor the live. Do you have a clock near you?
Yeah, here I'll set like an online timer on my computer.
Okay, because I want to keep it like for less than an hour, just a bit less than an hour.
Okay. Let's go 55 minutes. How's that sound?
Perfect. Yeah, good. So we'll have the time to end that properly.
Perfect.
Thank you for that. Logistics under control. Yeah, the raw material. So to me, I see that like a philosophy. I don't know for you, how do you see that raw material? How could you summarize it based on your perspective?
I see it as like a philosophy blended with the science.
Yeah.
Because they basically turn the idea and concept of different densities into mathematical, like they organize it mathematically, because they say it's like octaves, like music.
Okay.
So there's different, like each density has its own sub layers that you can dive into. So for me, it's like, it's a philosophy of kind of what's going on is the best way I can describe it. But it's also like it's like, it's its own thing. It's the law of one, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, and I know that it is like the philosophy that is being practiced by the Galactic Federation above. So they are all about that. And me, like I said, the law of one, like the raw material, is fairly new to me. I'm like at session 45.
Okay.
Yeah, so more or less. I think I'm 47 now. I drove a lot yesterday and was listening to it. So yes, so back to all like the challenge that we do with the Galactic Federation. I mean, it's all like coming back full circle to it. So that's why I resonate so much with it. So just to put people like more into context, it's all like channeled information that has been channeled 40 years ago by Don and Carla. And there was also that guy, Jim, I think that was the scribe and was like part of the group. So yeah, and I resonate to a very, very deep level with that work, because to me it's a masterpiece, and it is like pretty much what we are doing, like Niama and I, at this time of the ascension process. But this has been done like 40 years ago, and they were really into it. They were really dedicated to that work. You could tell it was really like their sole mission. Like, I think they went up to session 45 in about 2-3 months, which is insane. The level of energy required to channel all that, because it's something, because they refer to Carla, like in their language, to like the instrument to receive the message, and she was just channeling the information. and they were always like worried about her vital signs, you know, like her energy, and it was really demanding to her, and she was just pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, and she was like almost willing to die just to you know to push it. It was like very very like intense. Let's put it that way. Very intense work.
Yeah, it's crazy too because they were saying in the raw material that eventually they were getting targeted by negative beings, and so they would like target her specifically while she's channeling, and they would inflame like her arthritis and stuff like that.
Yeah, at session 45, they speak about it like by the Orion group. Yes.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a lot to it. So I really honor the work they did, and like all the energy that went into that, because like I know to a very deep level with Niyama, like the energy that it takes to channel like that, it's quite something. So yeah, that's a really a masterpiece. And to me, like, okay, so just to put people back into context again, so you are like part of the 300 tribe, the tribe that I'm putting together. Those who are like really like resonating with the work that Niyama and I are doing. And we had the chance to do a couple of channelings together, like with the Andromedan, with your family above. So that was very, very like interesting. And yes, I mean, and recently on the Sun Tribe channel, because we have exclusive like a channel, a Patreon there. I did a channeling with Ra because I wanted to get in touch with him because of very masculine energy, like very like a, you know, like a king. Ra is very like solid being. I mean, so yeah, so I went like straight up to it because to me I was new to that, like so much information, like okay, so but what is that? I mean, still like a student, like a newbie to it, and I just went to the question like, okay, so what is the raw material? And what Ra answered is it's a door. So I found it very interesting, and we had like a small chat about it. And I would like to get your perspective on that. So yeah, so what is your resonance level about that answer? Or like, does it like, how do you resonate with that answer at door?
Yeah, so the raw material, which is like the law of one, is totally a doorway to a completely new way of looking at reality and the mechanisms behind why everything is what it is. Like, I don't know about anyone else, but growing up, I was always like, doesn't anyone else like get their mind blown by the fact that none of us know like who created us or like what we're doing here, the fact that we can't remember anything before birth, anything like that? Like, doesn't anyone else find that confusing? And the law of one just like takes all of that and is like, oh yeah, here's all the information about why everything is the way it is. And you can, like, if it doesn't resonate with you, just ignore it because it doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not. But it's like a framework. It's like a framework for, I believe, like if you were to adopt this framework of understanding the way that like entities interact, and me and you were entities, right? Like we're two entities interacting. Um, I think it would be a really good way to prepare for eventual extraterrestrial contact.
Exactly, exactly. This is how I opened the live. I mean, uh, like people are eager to reconnect with our galactic family. But I mean, we have to think that they vibrate at a much higher level and they have their own way and philosophy. So it's a good idea, like to understand them better, how they think, and to be a vibrational match. You know, like we have to to step up our game. You know, to be able to meet them to a, like a at their very bare minimum vibrational level as a collective to be able to establish full contact. I mean, we cannot like stay the way we are at this point of the ascension process, which is like a I don't think we're ready for contact yet. I mean,
No.
not at all. Not
We're
at all.
like we're in the phase where we're realizing there's like monsters in the closet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like we
exactly.
still
Yeah.
haven't gotten the monsters from under our bed dealt with.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, so the monster is still there, and many people are still like not ever, even aware of that monster. I mean, so now it's coming out, all that crap, that bullshit. So I think that like now we have to go through the real awakening, like on a global scale of all that like scam going on that has been like controlling us for thousands of years. So that's like we are in the process of that. But after that, I guess then we will have to increase our vibrational level to be able, I think, to make a really like uh, full contact. I mean, like that everybody will be aware that we are in contact with them, and not just the way that we are through channeling. I mean, this is like I to me like the work that we're doing now with them through channeling is just like to like it's a softer contact, and then
mhm.
just to prepare us to climb our way up to that vibrational level. But that law of one, I mean, this is exactly like powerful stuff that I don't see much, maybe a lot of enthusiasm into like the starseed movement about it, and I'm surprised because it's new to me, and it's like, wow, how come it's not like more like popular than that? To me, it's mind-boggling. So this is why I had the calling to do this live, just to bring more light to it, and to maybe like people to will have the calling to at least give it a try to see how it is for them.
Yeah, like it's not even I find it interesting, like it's not even something that you like try, you know what I mean? It's like you read it and then
Mm-hmm.
you decide whether it makes sense or not to you.
Yeah.
And if it makes sense to you, then it starts slowly changing the way that you see everything, and pretty soon everything becomes a lot more like mystical, I guess. Like all of a sudden you're part of this grand experiment that's going on, and you're realizing like what the roles of like why dogs exist and what our relationship with dogs are on the evolutionary scale. Like we're here to teach dogs about the third ray chakra, the yellow ray chakra of identity. We're here to teach them names, like they're late second density beings. We're teaching them how to be eventually bumped up into being incarnated into humans. And like it's such a cool, I don't know, yeah, it's such a cool like template because it
Yeah.
takes all of the ancient, super ancient wisdom, and it says like, yeah, we acknowledge all that ancient wisdom, and it all fits into this long storyline of humanity that, or that's more than humanity, but most of it that's been channeled is only from the human perspective. Um, but like, yeah, I don't know. I can't overstate enough. Like anyone that hasn't listened to it or read it, that's checking out this chat, I highly recommend it because it's it's just a really interesting read, even if you're not that excited about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like more interesting than Star Wars, in my opinion. And I used to love Star Wars.
Yeah, because it's a full like philosophy. It's deep, and like I'm just like at the session 47, so I'm not like even like still really like deep into it,
Mhm.
but it's just coming back full circle. So yeah, so and when Ross said that, like it's a door like for ascension, it has been put together like back to that channeling by the greatest like alchemist omnipresence. I mean, to me, like everything just like that connects so many dots and everything starts to make sense. So it's a door for ascension, not to say that people they have to, if they don't study the law of one, they will miss the ascension. It's not that at all. I
Mhm.
mean, that door has been created like 40 years ago, has been like put there, and now it's open already. So even if you don't look into it, it won't like prevent anything. But I feel that on as a collective, the more of us that at least give it a try, or like, because for many it will become a passion, because there are groups now, Facebook groups, that are like getting organized of a law of one enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
So you can even like become member of those chat groups, those Facebook groups, and make friends over there, and a beautiful community, to build community around that. And to me, the everything that you will learn from that will just speed up the process to make contact. I mean, to me, it just makes sense to think that, to make contact with our family, galactic family.
Yeah, for sure. And like speaking of Raw, you know that Raw is a social memory complex, right?
Yeah, maybe you can provide more information, like because to me, like Ra was more like the sun, but is it really the sun? So maybe you can explain that to me, because you are much more well versed than me to about that. So who is Ra? How could you describe Ra?
So Raw is not one single entity. Raw is like what's called a social memory complex. Right now, Earth is in the process of slowly making a social memory complex. What that is a network grid of beings that all share the same, almost like a hive mind, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
They're all
Mm-hmm.
individuals, but they have access to all the same information, because they share like a mental space. Kind of like right now, we're sharing a mental space
Mm-hmm.
as we have this, but they have one that's going on all the time. So, and when he says, I am Ra, that's them affirming their I am presence. It's not one entity, but you can ask Ra this because, like, this is what I remember from the law of one material. I could be wrong with some of this, so you might as well ask Ra.
Mm-hmm.
But um, Ra is like a seventh density social memory complex.
Yes,
Um,
that's what they
yeah,
refer to. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So that's what they are. So when you're talking to Ra, you could be talking to like one person that is a member of the Ra social memory complex. So you're speaking to a fractal of what Ra is. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Yes, yeah, exactly. So like Zico, for example, from ancient Lemuria, I mean, it's a collective. So it's, yeah, and also the love being fleet. I mean, it's a collective. So it comes back to that again. So more confirmation. I mean, so yeah. So again, that that law of one. I mean, it's back to that level 5 of ascension. You know, the omnipresence. We are the same consciousness experiencing itself through different perspective.
mm-hmm.
It comes back to that. But what is so powerful, I find, like in this realm, is that we, like, the ultimate goal is to understand that, you know, that highest level of consciousness, while experiencing that separation, because at the end of the day, like, we are alone in that path, no matter how well we are surrounded. Even like me, I found like Nyama, my twin flame, but still I am alone in that experience, because here is the duality, you know. So it's like to experience that, like, deep, like, loneliness. I mean, which is fine, it's part of this experience. Even if you have 200 friends, doesn't matter, you're still totally alone on your spiritual path, and you have your friends to help you out. And then to tap into that omnipresence, which is like you realize, and you really like understand to your like DNA level, that you are one with all. So it's that, like, it's the polarities of being like one with all and being alone in the world. So it's deep.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Actually, like, um, it's an interesting thing that I don't know if we can fully comprehend. Like, we get little glimpses of like these brief moments where we get a better view of what unity consciousness is, and it's
Mhm.
breathtaking. It's so like beautiful. but you can't because I've experienced unity consciousness as well, and it's really breathtaking, and the ego breaks down, but then you can't really exist in society with unity consciousness all the time. You know what I mean? You have to have that sense of individuality because we are
Yes.
still
Yes,
individual beings.
we're still individuals. Yes.
Yeah.
But when you integrate that and you reach that balance, everything is about balance, you know, the masculine, feminine, like to be your individual self, like the collective, and it's to reach that balance. So when you can reach that balance, like in all, and you can reach that balance with that omnipresence and that like singularity that we are, I mean, it's deep. So yeah, and I think for this ascension process, I mean, this is more towards like the back to the 5 level of ascension. I will repeat myself. Level 1, understanding better like the law of attraction. This is like the very like a entry level of higher consciousness. And then level 2, just to structure thing a bit, like to understand better our galactic history, cosmic origins and all that. Level 3, understand sovereignty to a deeper level, because we are sovereign being, and not many still understand that. Many still are more like into like trying to find a savior, or they are not like fully sovereign. Level 5, master the elements, and level 4, master the elements, and level 5, the omnipresence. So this talk is more about that omnipresence, which is more like abstract. So it's yeah, it's very interesting. And you, I'm curious to know, like, when did you find the raw material, and what, like, how did you find it, and what has been your call to dive into it?
Yeah. So I found it around the time that I had my spiritual awakening a couple of years ago.
Okay.
At the time, I was meditating a lot, and I channeled a decent amount of information that I scribed down, and I've showed to you guys before.
Yeah, your book, your binder.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah.
But when that was happening, I started looking for answers as to like what was going on. Like, imagine channeling information without ever hearing about what channeling is.
Okay, so for you, it just kicked in just like that. I mean, out of nowhere, you started to get those downloads. How was it, like visions, or what is a channeling for you? How did it start?
For me, it's more like a continuous like epiphany. You know, that moment where something clicks in your head and you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
For me, it was like
Yeah.
boom, 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 like continuous, like, and all of a sudden, everything just started forming together, and I had to write it down as quickly as I could because I had to keep the information organized as best as I could. Otherwise, it would
Or
like fry me.
yeah.
But yeah, so after that, I thought I was going crazy. And then I started finding out about channeling. And the most famous channelings, of course, were the raw material.
Yeah, it's the most known. Yeah.
And the ironic thing is, Ra, during the Egyptian times, like the golden age of the Egyptians, came down and tried to give them the law of one, but then they took it and flipped it into service to self, into...
I heard about that. Yeah, can you expand on that Egyptian time? Yes. So yeah, go. I'm very curious to learn more.
Yeah, so apparently Ra gave, and I don't know whether Ra appeared in like a physical form back then or if it was just channeled, but Ra attempted to give the people of Egypt the law of one. But when this happened, it was taken by the nobility and distorted in a way that made it kind of like what the Catholics did with Christianity. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they take out certain parts, they leave certain parts in.
They
Things thinks
Yeah.
that make their idea of what the religion should be is the
Yeah.
right one. So that's what happened. And then Raw was like, okay, well, we did more damage than we did by helping them or by trying to help them. So we're going to leave until we can come back at a time where we know it'll be given in the right format so everyone can get it equally and get the
Mhm.
true teaching. And so they waited until the 80s, apparently.
Yes, I don't know if there was something else in between, but in the 80s, then this is where all those amazing books have been written. And also something that resonated a lot to me is that that group, those three beings, Don, Carla, and I forgot the other guy. But I mean, they've been like chosen to by, I guess, by Rob, because um, they could really like channel the information and put it out there with like very little distortion.
Mm.
Yeah, because everything comes like from there's always like a filter. So as a channeler, it's always like to bring the information and just to bring it out like as it is. So when you are distorted yourself, or you can really like twist everything. So yeah, so my understanding is that they were really like a very solid group, like very like pure heart, and they were like very little distortion within them. So yeah, that's another things that to me like resonate a lot with what Niyama and I are doing, because yeah, I mean, it's not easy to convey that with words, but I mean, it's very profound to me, that detail.
Yeah, like I'm really curious as to how many times have you guys channeled Raw?
Like to channel him, like to call him forth, like we did one so far, but he came to us a couple of times, but it was like indirectly. I mean, it was, let's say we were doing a channeling and then we were talking about something, then he would chime in. So it's like if he wanted to get our attention or something. So and I was like receiving those, like just to have him present for a couple of minutes, and I was having those massive downloads like that, like super like strong being and like solid. So it's like, wow, that was profound. So it's kind of prepared me. So this is why, like the 300 channel, yeah, Niyama says 5, I think, yes, but on the 300 channel, like I say, okay, now we do a full channeling with Ra. It's the first we did one so far with him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
More to come for sure. More to come.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the cool thing is, now that you guys are reading like the Law of One and stuff like that, as you're learning about it, I'm sure you'll start to think about questions that,
Yes.
like, because one law that's really important for me is the law of free will.
Yeah.
It's always been, and I didn't realize how important it was just out of principle until COVID. Because then there was a lot of infringement of free will going on, or attempted infringement of free will.
Yeah.
And realizing that like that's like a law of the universe, is to allow other things the free will to choose, which I thought was really interesting, because the laws that they depict do coincide with Christianity, but they're more like just like written instructions of like, this is what this law is, this is what this law is, and there's like consequences if they get broken, but not in the way that you think there are. I don't know. It's just it's really interesting.
Yes, it is. And Yama says, yeah, Lord Maitreya is believed to be the sun god Ra. I didn't know that, because Lord Maitreya is another being that we channeled a couple of times. That's deep. But it's not on the Sun Tribe Patreon. But I'm sure we will do more with him. But because back to the law of one, like they were always channeling raw, just one being like raw. It was like to put that big, massive like information together. But the work that Nehemiah and I are doing at this moment, it's different because we channel so many like different. It could be whatever. Let's say it could be the Andromedan, the Pleiadian, the like whatever cosmic group out there. Could be like back to Lemuria, like Ra. So it's more like diverse in terms of beings that we channel. So it's very very different. So to me, like with the work that we do in this time into the ascension process, is really like okay, like whatever we need at the moment, like we think about like which beings could bring the information, and then we connect with those beings. So yeah, it's different in that regards.
Yeah, it's cool, and there's so much that you guys can do with it
It's
as well.
infinite. It's infinite. Yeah.
Like I'd love to see if you guys ever get bored, you should try and connect with like Merlin or
Merlin, if
like
we get bored.
these old energies, like
Okay.
or Odin or
Odin.
somebody like that.
Odin, we did the live with Mary once, and we did connect with Odin once.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yes. Yes. So the possibilities are infinite. They are endless, and that's such a powerful tool. I'm still lending back from the one we did last weekend. Merlin. Yeah. Yeah. Is laughing. Yeah. I'm still lending back from the one we did last weekend with Zico. Of ancient Lemuria, and the intention behind that channeling was to gather information how to create the eco villages that we want to do based on ancient Lemuria, and to get their input about mistakes not to repeat that they experience, and it was profound. So you did watch that. So it's not a topic of tonight, but I'm curious to get your thoughts, like how did it resonate with you, that channeling with Zico. To me it was to another level, like just to provide information to how to start to build the new herd. It was a different type of of information. So how did you experience that one?
It was cool to see like the starting of the next phase in action.
Yeah.
Like there's actual like concrete steps being taken now. Like Alexander, I don't know if he's still watching or what, but Alexander and his friend went to, I believe, in Victoria, you guys went to the courthouse or something like that to get heard on a certain subject, like last week or something like that.
I didn't know. I don't know about that. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. At a live, it was. I'm hoping Alexander's watching this so he can say,
Confirm.
but yeah, like it's cool. Like people are starting to actually do things instead of us being in kind of that passive mode where we're waiting to receive,
Yeah.
some
Feminine.
sort of change. You know?
Feminine energy, just waiting
Yeah.
to receive. Yeah. That feminine. So time to tap more into the masculine action, and take real action. Yes. So we are definitely in a new phase, and yeah, it's exciting. Like to me, just to take those steps and to try to gather people like that, and really like to bring all those minds together to create that new herd. Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what have you guys got on the go? Like, what are your plans for the 300 then? Are you still
Yeah.
trying to figure out what direction you're wanting to take it?
I mean, it's always like we move forward. That it's heart is it's led with our heart. I mean, yes, and so to me, it was like to gather those people that resonate with us, to the work that we do, Nehemiah and I, to a deeper level, so we can create that mastermind, because we know how powerful a mastermind is. It is. I mean, when you put like three people and more together, it creates its own egregor. So, and me, I love to do these channelings, but also I like to get input from other people to get other ideas of questions. Yes, and like Ross said, into that channeling we did with him, it's those 300 are going to be the ones that will like anchor, that will bring into the physical that law of one. Just want to read that question. How do you stop procrastinating and start doing instead of waiting to receive?
That's a good question.
You kick your butt, your own butt. I mean, you just do. It's yeah, you have just to just do it. I mean, there's no a zillion way to do it. You get up bed and you have your list of the day, like, and you better make a smaller list. Let's say 3 items, and then you do 4 to overachieve, to reprogram your brain to overachieve and to win. If you have 10 items, you do 8 on your list for the day, then you program your brain to lose. So that's a tip that I can offer. I mean, those who want to really take action and start to achieve, you make a smaller list and then you do more than what is on the list. That's a good start. Yes, overachieve. So yeah, so back to that channeling with Rise. Like you said, that those like that will be drawn to us, like to our energy, because there's many groups within the Starseed community, and they all vibrate to different like frequency. So those that will be attracted to us and that will resonate with us. My understanding is that 300 group that will anchor into the physical, the law of one. Because right now the law of one, it's all like theory that has been channeled like 40 years ago. So maybe some individual here and there really like master it on an individual level. So when more of those people will get together, which is the goal of the 300, so who knows what will happen out of that? I mean, can you imagine, let's say a group, like a fairly large group, let's say 300 people that really are into that, and that we can like gather together and just like bring into the physical within the group that law of one. I mean, that's deep and that's unheard of yet.
Yeah.
So that's yet. So that's I'm all about that. So this is why I have that calling to create that tribe of people that are resonating with that. So I invite everyone that are watching this live, or that will watch a replay, or even if it's in a few months from now, and that you resonate with that. Just there is the link for the Sun Tribe in my bio. So I encourage people just to go take a look. And if you have the calling to give it a try, see what's there, fine. I mean, if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe just like that. But yeah, so really tonight is just again to broadcast that frequency. So I know that this talk is not for everyone in the movement at all, because it's a very specific, I mean, to me, it's like the higher you vibrate, the less audience that you have. But that's fine, because this is with those people that I want to create a group and to connect and to make things happen. It's important to find those people and to create groups and to brainstorm together and to put our ideas together and just to co-create that new heart together. I mean, that's key. So yeah, this is why I am so much passionate about that project. So yeah, so.
And here we are, we're doing it.
Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question. So that's the intention behind the whole thing, and how it will move forward. Then we will, you just always move forward, and then you readjust as you move forward. And there is something new that comes. And I mean, we are not attached to any outcome. So it's just like to move forward from a place of love and to follow that heart guidance.
Nice answer. Nice.
Simple.
So where did you say that you were at with the law of one? Like you said you're around chapter 47?
47, yes, more or less. Yeah.
So have you gotten into them talking about different densities and stuff like that yet?
They touched a bit. So yeah, so to me, densities, back to the question you asked yourself to the Andromedans. I mean, densities are more like like the environment that you're in, and the dimension is more like your level of consciousness. Is that how you see that as well?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes I get them mixed up, to be
Yeah,
honest. Like,
yeah,
because there's only two, so sometimes I get like density mixed up with dimension. Um, but yeah, like I'm pretty sure that's what the Andromedans told us too, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like it's interesting. Like, I wonder if we'll ever get to a point where we're able to like assess exactly where we're at in terms of dimension of consciousness, because it would be really interesting to see what like a group of people who resonate at a higher level together looks like in terms of how they interact and stuff like that, and how everyone, I don't know, like I find it really interesting. Like we're creating this like 300 tribe, right?
Hmm.
And we're gonna be like a grid. The way I see it is like a grid of
Yeah.
people who interact and share
And
information together.
we are crystals. Our avatars, we are crystals. So we create those crystalline grids. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that, because right now it's still in the phase where like I've just met Alexander online. Um, I've known you and Niyama for a while now,
Yeah.
almost been a year.
A year, 12/12 on Monday will be a year.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, so a year. So that's still like it's still all really fresh. And once
Yeah.
those pieces start coming together and people actually start interacting and collabing on stuff and sharing skills, it's going to be really, really, really interesting to see. Um, Also, the amount of information that I've learned from you guys since we started interacting has been immense. Like, the group is so valuable for what you guys are
Thank you.
doing. Like, I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And I'm just really interested to see when we start getting onto topics like, you know, talking to, say, I don't know if you guys are going to do like Raw or something like that, but to see what comes of that as things develop, because you guys have the power to channel. Like, it's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
It is. I mean, and I'm not aware because now, like, okay, everybody channel on an individual level, and now, like, everybody, like, even now, my brother channel. I mean, everybody channels, but the way that we channel, to me, okay, I will just like explain that to those, let's say, who might not know us. It's like really like Niyama that becomes like Carla, the instrument to use the vocabulary that they use into the Law of One. So she really becomes like a phone. So it's like, so then you can have a full blown conversation, like on one with those let's say different group of the Galactic Federation, or different beings, or social memory complex, like you said. So it's very intense. And, I did a lot like meditation. I did like herb medicine, mushrooms, DMT, like ceremonies. So all like amazing things, like to go tap into like higher type of consciousness. But to me, those channelings, I mean, this is something else, because it's when you are like fully like conscious, like really down to earth, really anchored into this realm, and then you can have those talks like one on one, and that's powerful. And I'm not aware of many others doing that yet. I'm not aware of that. I mean, maybe they are, but I don't know them, and I will be curious to get in touch with people like that, but so far it seems to still be like rare.
Yeah, like I followed this one woman on Spotify who has a podcast. It's called Conversations with My Higher Self.
Okay.
Um, she's at the level now where she has integrated her higher self into who she is. So when she channels, she just closes her eyes and she has direct access to the Akash, like right away. So she doesn't like channel other beings necessarily. She
Okay.
channels her higher self, but she does it like super easy. She doesn't have to
Okay.
like,
Get
she
in
just
state.
like is integrated.
Okay.
And she said she's been doing it for like 10 years, something like that. And um, it's really interesting because she'll do podcasts on things like, you know, what angels and demons are, um, from a soul perspective,
Okay.
things like that. Um, but she's like the only other person that I know of that does channeling,
Okay.
um, the best type of channeling,
Direct
direct connection
connection
to
to
you.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the,
that's powerful.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be like the goal. I'd love to learn how to channel, but there's no information anywhere on how to do it either.
No, and yeah,
Like,
it's not that she tried to learn it. I mean, it's she came in this realm with that gift. You know, we all came with different gift, and that's the beauty of that whole thing is that we're all unique, and all the gift that we bring, it's when we combine them and when we get united, and to use it from a place of love. This is where the magic happens. So this is how we have been like using that gift so far. Yeah. So it's they just came to me. Yes, exactly. They just came. So I remember we were just chilling in her room, and then she had those visions, and this is when she say, okay, now they she just told me once, like, okay, now they because she were telling me that she had those visions, she was seeing like aliens a bit, like in her mind and stuff like that. It was like, okay, me, I'm very open mind, always have been, always will be, at least I hope so. But yeah, so I was really like open to it. I mean, okay, and then it one time she said, okay, now they want to talk to you. So this is how it began. And I said, okay, fine, I'll see what will come out of it. And then we had like initial like small talk because at the beginning, Yaman, she was not like as like now today she's super sharp when she channeled. She's like very fluid and she's like a phone, but it was not as solid at the time. But I mean, that was very like interesting experience. So it we made the first contact like that, and we established that relationship since then. So yeah,
when was this that you guys, when that first happened?
yeah. So it was I would say last year, maybe August, something like that. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah. So it's fairly new, like not even a year and a half.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
So, so we met like 3 months after
Yeah.
that started. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
a very life changing experience. I mean, so this is when I start like to get information about the star seeds. I never heard about star seeds before, all of that, and went on the Instagram and connected with that community. And this is where we met. And yeah, so this is how it started. So we're just getting started with that, and look, like so much information already. That's massive. I know that the work we do, I know that like this is why I value so much the law of one, the raw material, because I know how deep it is, how profound it is, how intelligent it is. And it's to convey that like with words, let's say, to an audience, to the public. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy sell. I mean, it's very abstract to most people. But when you experience that, I mean, it's not abstract at all.
it's
it's
so it's so funny you say that because so when I first started learning about Law of One, I tried showing my friend it, and
okay.
he said, "Sorry, man, I don't believe in space wizards."
Okay.
And that made me laugh so hard
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, like if you're not vibrating on that frequency, it would seem so silly to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Well, for
But then you
sure.
read it. You
Yes.
take the time to read it and you're like, no, there's something here. Like there's something very, very real here.
Yeah. But you have to be at that level at the end. I mean, it's not for everyone at all. But when you resonate with that, you resonate to a very, very, very deep level. So this is how powerful it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I just want to touch back like to that door to ascension, because when I asked that question,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, okay, it's a door. So when you want to create a new space, so to me the new space was the new hurt. So you have to create like an entry or a door to it. So that law of one is really the bridge between the two. So when you open the door, then you have access to that new space. So it's the level of intelligence again is out of this world because it's not from this realm. So it's very humbling because we know a lot of smart people and scientific and engineers and all of that, but this goes beyond all of that to me,
Mm-hmm.
way
Yeah.
beyond the type of technology or the type of talk that I have had the chance to be in touch with. So yeah.
Yeah, and one thing about it as well is you have to read it very intentionally, because the way that it's spoken and written is so precise that it's almost
Mm.
like reading legal jargon. Like you have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is what I like about the podcast on Spotify, because it's being breaking down by Gabe. I don't know if you ever listened to one of his podcasts. So are you familiar with the one on Spotify? Okay, so instead of you like reading it, because it's like very like a reading like a like to be a lawyer, like reading that, and it's very like a advanced language. So it's Gabe, a very good heart, a very nice human being that just like go through the Q&A, the questions. So he reads the question, the answers, and then he give it his take on it. So it's with his own filters. So it's not like your filters, but it creates like that mastermind again, just to have. So it's good to be able like to and then you can join those Facebook groups, and again just to talk about that. So it's just to combine different perspective, because again to me I guess it's a bit, let's say, like a book like the Bible. You will have a billion people reading it, then you will have a billion different interpretation of it. So yeah, so that's I think that everybody will find that different information, and again you will go it's um also based on your consciousness level, so you will go through that material again in a couple of years from now, and you will have a different experience.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, like with the law of one material, it's written that way because there's so much information that it has to like code it in a certain way. And so some of the way that they speak doesn't make sense when you listen to it the first time, but then you listen to it a second time or third time or fourth time, like you were saying, and you uncover new meanings for everything. And along with these new meanings, it's like there's so much contained within the law of one that deals with a lot of these new age topics that there's a lot of confusion about, and it helps make sense of that. You know, like what a negative being is, what a positive being is, what polarities are.
Mhm.
It's got like Hermetic philosophy built into it. It's got like Christianity built into it. It's got like Buddhism built into it. It's
Mhm.
like it's the law of one.
Yeah,
It's a huge
it's wide.
template. It's got something for everyone.
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's
like for me, the thing that's been most the thing that I'm most interested in when it comes to law of one is is learning about like things like the Galactic Federation and stuff like that. Anything that has to do with ETs, because for me, I'm like a huge xenophile. Like I love meeting new cultures, meeting new people,
me
going new
too.
places I've
Yeah,
never been, and so learning about these other like alien cultures, whether some of them aren't even real or what. It's so worth it.
Yeah.
But I've got to apologize. We're coming up on the end of our time now.
Okay. How long? How much time do we have left?
We've got 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left for the 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will just conclude and wrap this up. But yeah. So just finish your thoughts on that to coming back full circle to connecting to the Galactic Federation, like how I opened the live. To me, like right away, it's like if we want to make contact, I mean, it's a good idea to understand a bit how their philosophy, how they think, and to be able to reach that vibrational match as our human collective to be able to establish that contact down the road. So yeah,
they're not going to come down to our level.
No, we have to level up.
Their level.
We have to level up. Yes, exactly. So yeah, so again, this is why the beauty of all that. This is why we're doing that. I mean, we all want to that contact to happen. So I guess this was my intention behind this live, to bring more light to that amazing topic. It was more an advanced topic, so it's not easy to convey that with words. I mean, so yeah, so I knew it would be a challenge. I think we did a great job. And on the other lives, we talk more, let's say, about basic things, and this one it's like more out there, but it's important to cover the whole spectrum of all these different frequencies, from that law of one omnipresence and all that higher consciousness level to back, let's say, to the very basic, let's say, like to master the basics, let's say, like fasting, semen retention, and stuff like that. So it's all linked. So yeah, so far I've been more having discussion about those basic things, but this one was way up. So yeah, so more discussion to come. It's a full spectrum, so that's the beauty of this. So thank you very much, Andrew, for sharing that space with me tonight. It was it was an interesting one, and I know that as we will move forward into the ascension process in a couple of years from now, we will touch on the subject, but it's going to be much easier because the collective will be more there, you know. So, but we have to start somewhere. So this is why, and it started back in 40 years ago. So, anyways, that's beautiful. We're just creating that ascending vortex into the realm. So this is what we are doing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been
honored.
awesome chatting.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing what gets posted on the 300 tribe.
Yeah, and get involved, like with those channelings. I know your questions are, so you can start thinking about some questions that you may have, like the best questions, and we will address them. This is the idea of the 300 group. It's not just for me to ask always the questions alone. So yeah.
Thank you.
So more to come. So love and light to all. We'll end this live and see you in the next one. Take care.
Take care.
Andrew.